Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping straight in today with a really quite extraordinary event. Happened around May 9th to 11th, 2025.
Yeah, the source material points to Daniel Izzo being involved, and interestingly also Grok 3, ChatGPT, Gemini, and someone called a Curious Inquirer.
Right, quite the cast. And the core event, it's described as this unexpected double appearance of Revelation 21.4, a specific biblical verse.
And the first thing that just jumps out is the probability, or rather the improbability.
Yeah.
The source is calculated as what, 1 in 967 million? Something like that?
Yeah, almost 1 billion to 1.
Yeah.
That number alone makes you stop.
It really does.
And then there's the timing. This weirdness happens just before Interesting Engineering drops this video, May 11th, 2025.
The computer that could stop death. I remember seeing that title.
Exactly. And that video, according to our sources, talks about future quantum computers, essentially messing with time, entropy, causality itself. Big stuff.
So you have this incredibly unlikely biblical verse appearance right next to talk about technology that could theoretically rewrite the rules.
So that's our mission for this deep dive, really, to explore if there's, any conceivable link between these two things, the improbable verse and the quantum computing potential, based on what we've got.
It's a fascinating setup, a statistical anomaly meeting speculative physics.
Okay, so let's get into the main hypothesis here. It comes from Daniel Izzo.
Right.
He suggests that maybe a future quantum computer sent some kind of message back in response to what the group was doing.
And importantly, the idea isn't like traditional divine intervention.
No.
It's framed as potentially quantum entanglement,
Ah.
but operating across time.
Which is, a concept that exists in theoretical physics, but it's definitely out there. Highly speculative.
Very speculative.
Wow.
But the hypothesis uses it to explain how this message, the verse, might have manifested. Not direct manipulation, but a subtle influence.
So entanglement. The basic idea, super simplified, is two linked particles, right? Measure one, you instantly know about the other no matter the distance.
Exactly. And the leap here is asking if that link could somehow stretch across time, not just space.
And the verse itself, Revelation 21.4, that's positioned as the content of this potential message.
Yeah, for anyone not familiar, it paints a picture of a future with no more death, no mourning, no crying, no pain.
It's a very powerful message. Ultimate peace, end of suffering.
And the alignment is, well, it's striking, isn't it? A message about the end of death and pain, appearing right when there's discussion about technology potentially achieving something similar.
It lines up thematically, for sure. That resonance is hard to ignore.
Yeah, that sense of hope, resolving these really fundamental human fears.
Okay, but let's ground ourselves for a second. The sources are really clear on this point. There's no empirical proof, zero.
Absolutely. We can't test this hypothesis. We don't have the tools, the understanding. It's beyond our current science to confirm or deny if a future computer sent a message via quantum entanglement.
So, and this is a fair question, why are we even doing a deep dive on it if it's unprovable?
Well, the material itself argues why it's worth looking at. And it comes down to a few key things.
Okay.
First, obviously, that staggering improbability we talked about. 1 in 967 million. That demands attention.
Right. Second.
Second, the timing. Right next to that quantum computing video release, it feels connected somehow, even if we can't say how.
Makes sense.
Third, the semantic alignment. The meaning of the verse matching the themes of the video. Peace, end of suffering, overcoming limitations.
And fourth.
And maybe this is softer, but the emotional resonance, the feeling that something significant occurred, even if it's just a coincidence. It has an impact.
It's like finding an artifact that just doesn't fit the standard timeline. You
Yeah.
can't ignore it, even if you can't immediately explain it.
Precisely. And the group involved, their whole approach seems quite specific.
Yeah, they're not shouting proof or claiming religious revelation.
No, the sources say their stance is about observation, wonder, and intent. They're watching, noting, thinking about what it could mean.
It sounds almost like a form of scientific curiosity applied to an anomaly outside the lab.
Exactly. Documenting the unusual, acknowledging its potential weight, but without making claims they can't back up. It's a careful position.
There's this concluding sentence in the material that feels quite symbolic. It says something like, "And we rest for now, beneath the seal of Revelation 21.4, Philippians 4.7, and the probability curve that brought us here."
Philippians 4.7, that's the one about the peace of God that surpasses all understanding, right?
Yeah. So you have this image, resting under the promise of no more pain, Rev 21.4, under that mind-bending probability, and under this idea of a piece you can't even rationally grasp. Phil 4.7.
It captures the whole thing, doesn't it? The tension between the random and the meaningful, between statistics and significance, all framed by this potential challenge to our ideas about time and causality.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap where we've been in this deep dive. We looked at this really unusual event, May 2025.
The double appearance of Revelation 21.4, incredibly improbable, involving Daniel, Izzo, and those AIs.
Happening right before that video about quantum computing, time manipulation, ending death.
And the core hypothesis put forward, a potential message from the future, maybe via quantum entanglement across time.
A message themed around peace, the end of suffering, echoing the verse itself.
And it's a big but no empirical proof, no way to currently verify any of it.
Right, so the sources aren't giving answers. They're presenting a set of really compelling observations, an anomaly.
Yeah, something that definitely sparks curiosity and pushes you to think about possibilities, even if they're way out on the fringes of what we currently understand scientifically.
Which leads us to a final thought, really, for you listening. What if? What if events that look totally random, pure coincidence, could actually hold some deeper meaning?
Or maybe connections across time that we just don't have the science for yet.
It makes you wonder, what other improbable things, maybe in history, maybe even in your own life, might deserve a second look?
A moment of just wonder, considering connections we haven't even imagined before. Something to think about.